Hello and welcome to Quality Management Part 2. Hopefully you've took a look at Quality Management Part 1. The objectives here of this section is to examine the basic control process and methods that managers use to maintain control, learn how productivity is used to evaluate management performance, learn about the importance of quality within an organization, learn how managers manage and control operations. So, the control process, for an organization to function properly, management has to exercise control to implement new practices, maintain consistency in operations, and key to that is continuous improvement of those processes. Control is a regulatory process of establishing standards to achieve the organizational goals, comparing their actual performance against the standards that they've set, and then taking any corrective action as necessary to meet and exceed those standards. Standards are usually a basis of comparison for measuring the extent to which various kinds of performance are satisfactory or unsatisfactory. Standards are the basic control process begins with the establishment of clear standards of performance. What are we expecting and how are we going to do it? Good standards enable goal achievement. You can't very well achieve the goal if you don't have some good standards set. Companies determine their standards by listening to the customer's comments, their complaints, and suggestions for improvement on their service or products, and also by benchmarking, identifying outstanding practices, processes, and standards that other companies have that might be stronger competition, and then adapting to those. The next step is to identify any deviation or problem areas and take some kind of corrective action. Once the system is on track or a correction is made, it's important to try to keep it on course. Many use the cybernetic process. The entire process is repeated again as needed in an endless feedback loop to maintain the desired performance levels. So you set the standards, measure the performance, compare with the standards, identify any deviations, analyze why are those deviations happening, and develop and implement a program for corrective action. And again, it's a feedback loop that keeps going on and on. Control processes, there's the feedback control, gathers information about performance deficiency after they occur, and it's used to correct or prevent performance deviations in the future. Concurrent control gathers information about performance deficiencies as they occur. It eliminates the delay of information between performance and feedback about the performance. And then feed-forward control gathers information about performance deficiencies before they occur. It seeks to try to prevent or minimize any performance deficiencies or deviations before they happen. Sustained control is achieved when behavior and procedures conform to the standards and goals set by the organization. Control loss is a situation where behavior and procedures do not conform to the standards desired. When they're not as desired, it costs you money. Regulation costs are the costs associated with implementing, or maintaining some kind of control. So control methods are a bureaucratic control, use of hierarchical authority to influence employee behavior by rewarding or punishing employees for compliance or non-compliance with organization policies, rules, and procedures. Then there's the objective control, the use of observable measures of worker performance or behavior and outputs to assess performance and influence their behavior. And then behavior control, the regulation of the behaviors and actions that workers perform on the job. We also have output control, the regulation of workers' results or the outputs through the use of rewards and incentives. Normative control is the regulation of workers' behavior and decisions through widely shared organizational values and beliefs, or part of the standards. Concerted control is the regulation of workers' behavior and decisions through work group values and beliefs, and hence culture enhancement. Self-control is a control system in which managers and workers control their own behavior by setting their own goals, monitoring their own process, and rewarding themselves for goal achievement. And self-control is a big part of employee empowerment. One of the more effective tools used by businesses today is the Balanced Scorecard. The Balanced Scorecard is a measurement of organizational performance in four equally important areas: finance, customer relations, internal operations, and the innovation and learning of the organization. So as you can see from this chart here, and I'll leave it for a moment for you to review, all of those tie into the missions and goals of the company. And the Balanced Scorecard helps management monitor how well they are doing against those goals. This is an example of Southwest Airlines Balanced Scorecard. You can see financial, customer, internal, innovation, and learning, their goals, the standard they're looking for, the measures, and the initiatives they are taking. So many companies have these. The Balanced Scorecard forces managers to set specific goals and then measure performance. It minimizes the chance of sub-optimization, which is performance improvement in one part of an organization at the expense of decreased performance in another part. You don't want to improve something and weaken something else. Controlling financial performance focuses on accounting tools, cash flow, balance sheets, income statements, financial ratios, and budgets. And the economic value added, the EVA, is the amount by which a company profits exceed the cost of the capital in a given year. Controlling customer defects have a great effect on profits. Customer defection is the performance in which companies identify which customers are likely to leave and then measure the rate at which they are leaving. And you don't want that. You don't want customer defection. Quality is an area of extreme savings to the business. The cost of defects or waste and scrap is a direct hit right on your bottom line, meaning that if you have a 5% scrap rate, that's 5% of your profit that is just going out into landfill. Quality is defined and measured in three ways: excellence, value, and conformance to expectations. But I also add warranty costs. You don't want to have the cost of warranty, of having something returned. The way in which a company defines quality affects methods and measures that workers use to control quality. There are advantages and disadvantages of different measures of quality. You can see the measure is excellence, value, and conformance to specifications, and the various advantages and disadvantages in each category. I'm going to leave this with you for a moment to review. Again, you may pause if you'd like to read it all in depth. Productivity and operations, an important part of the business, right? Operations management is all about the managing of the daily productions of goods and or services delivered to the customer. Managers are evaluated based on the efficiency and effectiveness of their operation. And one of the key factors of that measure is also productivity. Productivity is a measure of performance that indicates how many inputs it takes to produce or create an output. And the productivity measure is simply a matter of outputs divided by inputs. Higher productivity results in lower costs for the company, lower prices to the customer, faster service, giving them a higher market share, a higher standard of living for the employees in the company, and increased profits. Partial productivity is a measure of performance that indicates how much of a particular kind of input it takes to produce an output. Multi-factor productivity indicates how much labor, capital, materials, and energy it takes to produce an output. However, most companies use a simple method of outputs divided by inputs. Quality. Today, customers more than ever want value for their money and quality, particularly today with the higher price of goods, groceries, all your different items that you purchase, your services that you get, all of those went up in money. So customers today want better value for that. Characteristics of a quality product are the reliability of it, the serviceability of it, the durability of it. And in the service world, it's reliability, tangibles, responsiveness, and the assurance and empathy to the consumer. Also, today being quality certified is not only important to customers, but it's also important to your supply chain. ISO 9000 is a series of 5 international standards from ISO 9000 to ISO 9004. And the intent is to achieve consistency in quality management and quality assurance in companies throughout the world. ISO 14000 is a series of international standards for managing, monitoring, and minimizing an organization's harmful effects on the environment. Total quality management. Quality systems have become very important, and thus TQM, Lean Six Sigma, and the Toyota Production System have become very popular. TQM is an integrated, principle-based, organization-wide strategy for improving both product and service quality. The principles are customer focus and satisfaction. The organizational goal is to concentrate on meeting and exceeding the customer's needs at all levels of the organization, and to provide products or service that meet or exceed the customer's expectations. Continuous improvement is another principle, which is the ongoing commitment to consistently assess and improve the processes and procedures used to create products and services. The primary objective is to remove variation and reduce defects. Teamwork is also a key part. It's the collaboration between managers and non-managers across all the business functions and between companies, customers, and suppliers. Service operations, principle of quality, and TQM are still the same. Internal service quality is the quality of treatment employees receive from management and other divisions of the company within. And the more the employees feel respected and are treated well, the happier they are with their position, and the better they treat your customers in turn. So service quality is vital to a service organization. Service recovery is restoring customer satisfaction to strongly dissatisfied customers in an attempt to return them. It requires service employees to fix mistakes and perform heroic service acts immediately on the spot. So, empowering your workers means giving service employees the authority and responsibility to make decisions that immediately solve your customer's problem. So you can see, service profit chain is the employee is the go-between the upper management and your customer. And the more you respect and treat your employee, the more they treat and respect your customer. And in turn, it leads to greater competitive advantage and profitability. There's different types of processing in the manufacturing operations. There's make to order. They don't start producing or processing the assembly of the products until a customer order is actually received. Assemble to order operation divides manufacturing processes into different modules that are combined to create a semi-customized product. And the made to stock or build to stock, they order parts and assemblies in standardized products before receiving a customer order. Continuous flow produces goods at a continuous rather than discrete rate, but it's less flexible. Line flow production, pre-established and occur in a serial or linear manner, so there it's inflexible. And the batch production produces goods in large batches in standard lot sizes, like screws, nails, and so forth. It's the most flexible, and job shops can handle custom orders or small batch jobs. Measuring inventory. A huge cost of doing business today is raw materials and inventory. The more inventory and raw materials you hold within the company, the more you've tied up your money. Terms important to realize are average aggregate inventory, which is the average overall inventory during a particular time period. Weeks of supply, the number of weeks required by a company to run out of its current supply of inventory. Inventory turnover, the number of times a year that a company sells or turns over its average inventory. The lower the inventory turnover, the more profitable you are. So we have different types of inventory: raw material, the basic inputs in your manufacturing process; components, which are the basic parts used to complete a component project; work in process is the partially finished goods consisting of assembled component parts; and finished goods, the final output of the manufacturing operation. Economic order quantity is a system of formulas that minimizes ordering and holding costs, and it helps you determine how much and how often inventory should be ordered. The just-in-time process, however, in lean technology, the component parts arrive from the suppliers at the time that they're needed at each stage of the production, thus not building up a stockpile. Material requirements planning, or MRP, determines the production schedule, production batch sizes, and inventory needed to complete the final project for the customer orders. The economic order quantity is used when independent demand systems, a system of formulas that minimizes ordering and holding costs, and helps determine how much and how often inventory should be ordered. Just-in-time and MRP are used with dependent demand systems. Just-in-time is an inventory system where raw materials arrive from suppliers just as they are needed at each stage of the production. Material requirement planning, or MRP, is a production inventory system that determines the production schedule, production batch sizes, and inventory needed to complete final products. We're going to get into material requirement planning in management operations, so stay tuned for that. Dependent demand systems are level of inventory depending on the number of finished units to be produced. And so, to learn more about quality, the basic 7 quality tools, and Six Sigma, I suggest you visit my website at www.thequalityweb.org, and in there I go more in depth. Quality management. Make sure you viewed Quality Management 1, and there'll be more in-depth quality items in this chapter. Thank you for watching.